Yo, what's going on, yo? I'm JBHOOPS, and today I got my final scouting report of the 2022 NBA draft cycle. I put a poll up about a week ago, and you guys wanted Shaedon Sharpe, so I've got it for you today. And let's just get right into his stats. So obviously he didn't play this year at Kentucky, so I'm just going to be going off his 2021 EYBL stats. But first, starting off with his measurements. At the draft combine this year, Shaedon Sharpe measured in at just over 6'5" in shoes, with a 6'11.5" inch wingspan. And his 2021 EYBL stats were super impressive. He averaged 22.6 points per game, along with 5.8 rebounds and 2.7 assists, all in very solid efficiency. Those stats were over the course of 12 games, and Shaedon Sharpe was really impressive. And although there's not a lot of numbers to go off, I still think Shaedon Sharpe is an excellent prospect, so let's get into breaking down his game. So starting it off, I want to talk about one of his greatest strengths, which is his shot creation ability. I think Shaedon Sharpe has incredible self-creation potential. He possesses the athleticism and smoothness similar to Paul George, but he also takes super long strides and has the footwork to fluidly step back, fade away, or just pull up into his jumper. His ability to drive and use his strength to get his defender off balance and then quickly decelerate and rise into his shot is just remarkable. He has pull up and off the dribble range that extend to beyond the 3-point arc. He can pull up from anywhere in the half court. And I just think his shot creation ability with his physical tools are going to make him a problem in the NBA. Now, in saying that, Shaedon Sharpe definitely still has some room to improve. I do think he is limited as a self-creator due to his less than ideal first step and his unspectacular handle. And I think this could be an issue as he faces tougher defenders, which he isn't able to just overwhelm with his size and athleticism. So it definitely would help him out if he was able to just create more separation off the bounce to get some easier looks. But for the most part, I think Shaedon Sharpe has a super high ceiling as a shot creator, and I definitely think that'll translate to the NBA, and he's going to be a big time scorer. Next up, onto another massive strength of Shaedon Sharpe's game, which is his shooting ability. Sharpe has great shooting mechanics, his release point is high, and his shot is relatively quick, and I definitely think it's consistent and repeatable. I also think he has a ton of movement shooting upside. Sharpe can come off screens, come off pin downs, he's great at quickly turning and balancing himself, has some of the best footwork in this class, and I really believe he'll have minimal struggles as a shooter heading into the league. That's probably the one part of his game I'm most confident in translating to the NBA. The next part of Sharpe's game I want to talk about is his finishing ability. Shaedon Sharpe is an elite vertical athlete. His explosion jumping off both 1 or 2 feet is just effortless. He boasts an unofficial 49-inch vertical that he posted, which is absolutely absurd and difficult to believe. But seeing him jump on some of these dunks, I think it really could be at least close to that number, and he's an excellent athlete regardless. He shows off his explosiveness most commonly in transition, but also in the half court on back screens and cuts. His athleticism also enables him to finish in super creative ways around the rim. He has excellent hang time to adjust his shot mid-air, but also the body control and touch to finish below the rim. He's really comfortable going to either hand. Obviously he's better on his right, but he has a really nice left hand too. And Shaedon Sharpe is definitely one of the most impressive finishers in this class. However, I still do have some concerns in that department. Whilst he is excellent in transition as an off-ball finisher and is a super impressive vertical athlete, he just doesn't have the quickest first step, which sometimes restricts his ability to get by his defender and get to the cup. But because he is so athletic, it's definitely an area of his game I can see developing, but it is just something to look out for as it does impact Sharpe's ability to get to the rim and score on his own. Next up, I want to talk a bit about his playmaking ability. Sharpe really hasn't had many opportunities to be much of a playmaker, but the flashes of his secondary creation ability are very impressive. He just commands so much attention on the floor that it will open things up for his teammates. His bigs will get a lot of easy dump-offs in the NBA, as Shaedon will just force the help to step up high, or he will just baptize them. Sharpe didn't really get many reps as a facilitator in the pick and roll, but he was pretty good at finding his roll man or the big popping out to the 3. And he was also pretty solid at kicking to shooters as the advantage was created. The main concern I have for Sharpe in terms of his playmaking ability is definitely his handle. As I said before, his handle still has a ways to go before he will be placed in a position to operate as a lead guard at the NBA level. His handle can be quite loose, and he definitely could be better at creating space for himself, which I think will allow him to get downhill easier, and it will also just open up everything for him as a passer. Shaedon Sharpe's defense is definitely the biggest hole in his game. Sharpe has all the physical tools to be a really good defender at the next level, but from the available film, a lot of the times in his game, Sharpe was undisciplined and unfocused on the defensive end. His effort was often lacking both on and off the ball. He'd give up blow-bys too easy, and his foot speed on the ball wasn't great. And then off ball, he'd be slow to react to screens and his player's movement. He often wouldn't even fight around screens, and he was just caught out of position too often. Now, in saying this, I'm not super concerned. A lot of star players in high school aren't the most consistent defenders, defenders, as they're often just trying to conserve energy to show out on the other side of the floor, because that's all people really care about. I think as Sharpe gets into an NBA system with coaches and people that put real expectations on him on the defensive end, we'll see a lot of these issues become less apparent, because like I said before, he has all the physical tools to get it done on the defensive end. Now to wrap it up, I'm pretty confident that Shaedon Sharpe will be a top 10 pick in this draft. There has been reports of him slipping, but I just think he's way too talented to fall past 10. I can see him going as high as 5 to the Pistons, but I think there could be a few trades coming in the lottery, so we'll see how things end up. I think it would be really interesting to see how him sitting out this year impacted how NBA teams value him, because it could be the start of a trend of top tier guys sitting out after high school to maintain their value. But I still think Shaedon Sharpe is an excellent prospect. He might take some extra time adjusting to the NBA, but I think he has as much upside as almost any player in this class, and it really wouldn't surprise me if he has an amazing rookie season. Alright, that's all I got for this video. Let me know if you enjoyed it in the comments, like the video, subscribe for more. Almost at 1,000 subscribers, so I appreciate that. Anyway, that's all I got. JBHOOPS.